Ehlinger was a preferred walk-on at Texas. Jake Ehlinger was one of those Texas Longhorns who were entrusted with carrying the American flag onto the field during home games. Anyone who has attended or watched a UT game over the last couple of seasons has grown accustomed to the early group of players who carried the national and state flags ahead of their teammates to roaring approval of those in the stands at Royal Memorial Stadium. Sometime during the Mack Brown era, the Longhorns added the American flag to the pregame runout, joining the UT and state flags at the head of the pack. Jake Ehlinger never played in a game at Texas, but he was often at the front of the line when the Horns left that smoke-filled tunnel. No. 48 was a proud flagbearer. More, Austin police, Texas pound Jake Ehlinger, younger brother of Sam Ehlinger, found dead. Thursday's tragic news that Ehlinger was found dead served as a grim reminder that tomorrow is promised to no one. The fragility of life cannot and should never be overlooked. What has been a time of celebration for the family, Sam Ehlinger, Jake's older brother, was drafted just last Saturday by the Indianapolis Colts, has turned to heartbreak and despair over Thursday's news. Jake Ehlinger was 20 years old. It's a real gut punch, not just for the Texas football program but for the Westlake community that wrapped its arms around the Ehlinger family after patriarch Ross Ehlinger died of a heart attack while running an Arizona triathlon 8 years ago. Sam was a 14-year-old 8th grader at the time. Ross was 12. When Sam signed with Texas, where his parents, proud Texas alums, had taken him to games and dressed him up in Longhorns gear as a toddler, it was a cause for celebration. They bled burnt orange in that household and were the latest in a growing line of Westlake families, like the Streets and Campbells, whose family members played sports at the university. After their father's death, the Ehlinger boys were forced to grow up quickly. Sam has told reporters over the years that his dad's death created a toughness in him that he carried onto the field. Not always the most conventional quarterback, he would often take a pass on running out of bounds, choosing instead to take on much bigger tacklers, often lowering his shoulder to initiate the contact, for a couple of extra yards. He wasn't a linebacker like his brother was, but he played as if he was sitting in the same position meetings with Jake. Jake didn't have his brother's immense football credentials, but he capably played on both sides of the ball at Westlake and scored 2 touchdowns his senior year, one on a fumble recovery off a blocked punt against Austin High and the other on a catch playing fullback in a win over Schertz Clemens. When he joined the Longhorns as a preferred walk-on before the 2019 season, the brothers were reunited as teammates.